Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Stephen Werner. Welcome to Lawn Theory. Today I'm joined by Wayne with Mobot. Wayne was courteous enough to drive all the way down here to Wichita, Kansas from Omaha, Nebraska to join us today. Thank you so much, Wayne, for being down here.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Mobot? I know you're an expert when it comes to robotic equipment and electric handheld equipment in the outdoor power equipment industry.
Yeah, so Mobot was founded back in 2020 as a franchise, and we decided to purchase them out and strip it down as a subscription for landscape companies to help convert from traditional mowing to autonomous mowing.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know that you guys offer a variety of auto mowers. Is that correct? Auto mowers?
Yeah, a variety of automowers. Automowers is trademarked by Husqvarna,
Gotcha.
but we have plenty of different robotic mowers that are out there as well that we represent.
Awesome. And I know Husqvarna has kind of taken the lead, especially in Europe and now coming over here to the United States with some of their equipment. And I know that's by far the most that we see, but there's new emerging folks that are there. How fast do you think robotics are going to start to kind of take hold here in the United States?
I think we're right on the tipping point now. It's been gradually ramping up here the last 24 months, and this last few months has just been incredible with the transition of legislation and labor shortages and everything, and on how fast we're ramping up. So I'm thinking in the next 24 months from now, it'll be not new to us anymore. It'll be more every day.
So part of the Mobot umbrella, you also have Robin. And I remember when Robin had first started and that technology had first kind of taken hold, and seeing how far it's come from even 4 or 5 years ago to today is truly mind blowing. We were installing a unit earlier today, and it's just fascinating how far along that they've come. And we know that the labor shortage and quality has plagued the industry for a number of years, and we've seen through our users and just requests and demand for robotics that they see it as a viable solution now. Instead of something that's a threat, there's a solution now that they can purchase a unit, put it on someone's property, and make even more profit than they did with their traditional labor and staffing that they had prior. Are you seeing that kind of take hold more in the United States and people putting more robots out on properties instead of and scaling back on their maintenance?
Yeah, 100%. With the labor shortage, the landscape companies had two choices: to either find the labor that's not there to keep growing on their maintenance side, or just not take any more customers on. But with autonomous mowing, they can now not turn away customers and take on autonomous mowing and more clients. It frees up their labor for more profitable things in the company. So if they're hardscapers or if they're in irrigation or lighting, they can take those resources now and use them in those buckets in their company. So it's definitely helping the companies out now.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know that technology's come a long way as well. We were having a conversation earlier. So a lot of the units that we've installed are all the fly-by-wire systems for residential property. I know that there's some units that are out now that you talked about that can, what was the term used? Line of sight with GPS technology or 4G, and you can use them on multiple different properties. And you guys just brought that capability on not too long ago, correct?
Yes, correct. It's a company called URS Robots, Nexmo. It's all RTK tracked, cloud-based, to be able to store the lawn virtually. And then you're able to just QR code the robot to what property you're on and let it go out and do its job, do its task.
Yeah, because we have a lot of listeners who have reached out to us asking, okay, could I drop these robots off at multiple different locations throughout the day and have them service multiple different addresses? And when you and I had first started talking a long time ago, that capability wasn't there. And so now that it is here, I think it opens up such a huge opportunity for folks who have a lot of commercial accounts that maybe they don't have a lot of tree canopies that they can then replace some of that traditional staffing with. So super excited to hear that has come online. For the demand of the product around legislation, I know there's an act that was passed in Dallas and several other places. Do you think the industry will continue to see more legislation around electric equipment?
Yeah, I think so, 100%. Every year, we see more and more states adopting it, or bigger cities. Right now there's California obviously is the big push. 2024 being 25 horsepower or less. You have a lot of cities that are out or banning gas-powered blowers, so the electrification and battery handheld is ramping up rapidly because of that. So most definitely, I think here in the next few years, we're going to see a lot of states and a lot of big cities adopt the big green initiative.
Absolutely. One of the things that I've started noticing as well with the different cities and states adopting the green initiative is that it's changing the mindset of a lot of those business owners sooner, and they're seeing the profits or reaping the harvest from there. I know you have a lot of folks in the Northeast and down south. Have you seen any of your clients who got into it to either be early adopters or stay ahead of the compliance, and they've just seen the tremendous value that's associated with robotics and really just leaned in there?
Yeah. There are some landscape companies throughout the South that have totally 100% leaned in, and it's scary at first. It's still new technology, and this was companies that started a couple of years ago with this, and now it's second nature. They would never ever go back to anything that's gas.
Yeah. One thing that we've seen from business owners who have adopted this and being able to put a unit out on a homeowner's property that's fly-by-wire is seeing kind of that not basic math, but seeing that return on investment based off of this simple fact of knowing, hey, I've got 3 guys that normally have to go out to service this property. 1, they no longer work for me. 2, gas is expensive. And if I can put a unit out on this property, and I'm just making numbers up here, but let's say it's $48 a month for that unit, but you're charging $50 a week per cut, and that unit cuts daily, then the impact to the homeowner is, 1, they have a better quality lawn. 2, they don't see any major shift in their price point unless you're adding a bunch of add-ons to it. But have you seen a lot of that profitability kind of increase? I know you have a lot of, from Mobot, you have a lot of infographics, a lot of things that can show how profitable you can become on that. But walk me through that profitability of putting a unit on a property like we talked about.
Yeah, so if you take like a standard residential property, it's $50 a week for the property. A lot of them are changing any pricing at all to the end user. And when they do the math, when they cut out the crew, the 2-man crew, move it down to a 1-man crew, they cut out a F-250 Ford truck and a big trailer and 2 big zero turns, they definitely start seeing the big benefits and the big ROI on just leaving that bot on property. So with that all being said, look at a bot that costs that individual $3,000. They can get it recovered within 12 to 14 months.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier too, the maintenance on replacing the blades, and then just the life, the lifetime of that unit. It was 6 years, correct? 6 years is what you're expecting.
7 to 10 years is what Husqvarna is saying lifespan of the bot.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and the maintenance on the bot's minimal. Change to 3 blades every other month. You're less than $5. Way cheaper than gas, oil, air filters, and sharpening the blades.
Yeah, I was going to say sharpening the blades every night is so time consuming for folks. You almost do it just for that, the time saving on sharpening your blades. So with the knowing that you can make a lot of money off of a single unit on a single property, what's some advice that you would give to businesses that want to kind of get into this? Is it buy 1 unit? Is it buy 6 units? Do you guys have a package that you can give them to help them get up to speed?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a package out there now that's called a discovery package. So some of these landscape companies are just now trying to get their feet wet in it. That's a package I recommend. It's 3 to 5 bots. You get all the tech support from us. You get all the installation instructions from us. And we actually help you with the business model as well, to, how to sell to the customer, what the customer should expect out of the bots the first week, the first month, and then so on and so forth. So it's a complete package. So I don't really want to call it hand-holding, but it's pretty much hand-holding in the discovery package. And we're excited and happy to do that with these landscape companies.
Yeah, and one of the things that we found to be very effective is a lot of times there's another barrier is, well, how do I communicate that with my customer? How do I bill my customers? And I know we announced our partnership months ago, But as that continues to go along and you have all a one-stop shop solution to manage your bots in the field and continue to grow and measure those benefits, I think users will see drastic upticks in their performance, their downtime. Well, not upticks in downtime, a significant increase in productivity because you have less downtime. And I think as robots continue to evolve in the industry, we're just going to see major shifts. I think, to be honest, I think that robotics is going to be the biggest upset in the industry that the green industry has ever seen, in my personal opinion, because we're already seeing it disrupt so many different factors of life, whether that's in Europe or here, and showing that you can do more with less, right? I'm always a huge fan of do more with less. And I think with robots, what we're seeing is we spent an hour and a half setting everything up, and you won't have to go back to that property except for to trim an edge and upsell. And so from a profitability standpoint, it's a huge advantage, and you're already ahead of the curve. What are some tips or tricks or advice that you would give to business owners who are interested in going down this path, and how do you think they could be successful?
I think the tips and tricks would be definitely reach out to either Mobot or Lawn Buddy and get us in contact so we can actually listen to what their goals are. What are they trying to accomplish on turning some of their maintenance contracts over to autonomous mowing, and then put them on the right path. Is it going to be the path of leasing the bot back to the homeowner, subscribing to it? Is it going to be the path of selling them the bot as a package and maybe selling them a maintenance behind it? So that would be the kind of the first steps to make it happen.
Yeah. And then, so moving forward, kind of, if you had a time machine, you could go 5 years into the future, how big of an impact do you think robotics is going to have?
That's a great question. I think we're going to see a lot less landscape trailers, maintenance trailers. I just, anything that you can put out on your property, and like you said, more is less, is to make your life easier. That's where I see it. People are just going to say, I can't believe you mowed with a zero turn. We have this, nice little robot that mows our lawn every day, and I come home from work and it looks beautiful. I think that's a realization here in the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think anyone who's hesitating on it's not going to cut good, it's not going to do the areas that I think it's going to do to prove that it will. Wayne actually came down at the beginning of this summer, and we installed 2 units out at a baseball stadium here in Wichita, Kansas. One of those units, I'm pretty sure we exceeded the grade in which it should have been installed, but we have had zero issues with either of those two automowers at all, including getting notifications if it's been kicked or tipped over or moved. Just the connectivity of the robot speaking to the business owner, one is huge, but then the reliability has been mind-blowing. I talked to the staff of the baseball stadium not too long ago, and they were saying they were completely blown away by the effectiveness of the units and the reliability behind them. And so I think anyone who's listening who is on the fence, we have tested it, and we continue to test it. And part of this partnership is to bring you high-quality content, high-quality experts like Wayne to help you learn more and get ahead of the curve, because the industry is changing, and we are seeing rapid changes both from legislation as well as the industry as a whole realizing we're not going to solve this labor problem. It is not going away.
It is not going away at all.
As a matter of fact, I think it's going to continue to get worse as distributed teams continue to increase, right? So as more businesses are allowing people to work from home, just culture in the United States is changing. Young people, the next generation are changing, and they are not going to do business the same way. And they're also going to demand a different type of service from businesses in the lawn and landscape industry. So this is not going away, and early adopters can definitely take a huge leap forward in these trends by just sitting down and talking with Wayne and the team at Mobot. What would you say if business owners interested in this, let's say they do the discovery package, how fast could they ramp up if they see that ROI in a short amount of time.
Yeah, we typically see them that second year after they're kind of going through that discovery phase and they do their own test to make themselves a believer. It's that second year they start ramping it and they start transitioning fairly quickly their already existing maintenance contracts.
Yeah. What are you most excited to see in the industry, specifically in robotics, in the next year or 2 years?
Everything's met and exceed my expectations already. So, these units are going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to be able to handle more and more properties. So I'm excited to see the big units. We have some projects going on at airports right now and some very large municipalities that we're testing some bigger bots on. So that's where my excitement is, to see massive fields being able to be mowed autonomously and not have, $150,000 tractor out there and just have this 50-inch robot just maintaining the 20-acre property.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I believe you had pulled up earlier. That's the Sequoia, correct?
Sierra.
Sierra.
Yeah, Sierra. Yep. Sierra, and there's some other brands out there that we're testing at this point.
Yeah,
yep.
it looked phenomenal. The capability that it had to just the vast amounts of acreage that it could cover. There was also something that was really neat as we were setting up one today. For those of you who adjust your deck height, I know this is a controversial opinion. I know that I'm going to get a lot of hate mail from this, but people who adjust your deck height during different seasons, there is good news. Wayne was able to show me that literally from the press of a button, you can adjust the deck height on some of these Husqvarna units. And so as your season continues to change here in the Midwest, obviously we have a lot of fescue, have a lot of Bermuda that grows rapidly or drastically reduces its growth time depending on the season. And so they've really thought out how you go about changing deck heights or cutting lengths, things of that nature.
It's the whole connectivity all the way around. It truly makes a smart home smart. It's Alexa capable, it's Google capable. You'll be able to, it'll be sooner than later. It'll be communicating with your sprinkler system, so it'll know that it can't mow during a certain time because it's being sprinklered. When the sprinkler's shut off, the mower will go out and do its task. So it'll become a complete hands-free outdoor living.
Yeah, and what is for an average residential home, let's say, I have no idea, like half an acre home or less, how much time do you think it would take a unit to actually cut? Because it cuts every day, correct?
Yeah, it can. I mean, it just kind of depends on the growth spurts. So in the spring, obviously, you'll probably have it running a little bit more. But, on a half an acre property with the right size mower, you're running at about 12 hours.
Yep.
Yep.
What is part of the kind of as we get towards the tail end of our time here, what is some of the biggest advice you could give younger business owners who are the small to medium size that are just starting out? Because I know we talked a lot about how we could help these existing landscaping companies, but what are some opportunities you think there are for younger, small to medium sized business owners in the industry?
Yeah, I think, instead of going out and spending, the big money starting out in landscaping, you have to look at, you're going to have a expensive truck, expensive trailer. You're going to have, the first go around of buying to equip the trailer. It's definitely would make more sense to come in and start out as robotics if you're just kind of getting into the industry, because pretty soon the zero turns will be a dinosaur, So I think it wouldn't be very good money spent if you're starting out in the industry today if you're not seriously looking at autonomous mowing.
I agree. So I know you're going to be at Elevate, you're going to be at Equip. Are you going to be at any of these other shows throughout I know there's a lot, and it's hard to remember all of them, but I know for sure you're there at those two shows, correct?
Definitely going to be at those two big shows. We'll be up in Michigan at the Michigan Landscape Show. I'm not, there's several on the books that from now really through January. So there might be some more state shows that we show up. So we try to participate in all the states' landscaping associations shows. So right now we've been in Texas, Nebraska's, Michigan's. We got to get involved in Kansas. Obviously, we haven't been here yet in the Kansas show, but yeah, the two big shows right now is Elevate and Equip that we'll be at.
Yep, and we'll be there as well. So anyone who would like more information, feel free to stop by and see some of the robots in action. It's really neat to see their booth. I'm not going to spoil it, but you'll be very, very impressed. So One of the last parting questions that I have for everyone is my favorite question. It's a would you rather question.
Great.
And I did this for Sherry. I've done it for everyone, and I'm interested to hear your opinion. Would you rather have legs the size of thumbs or thumbs the size of legs?
Thumbs the size of legs.
Amen. That's at least we have someone with sense. We always do that just to break the ice a little bit. Know that we are just like you who are listening, and we want to continue to guys bring you great content, great experts like Wayne. We thank you so much for your time. And how can folks get a hold of you?
You could reach out to mobot.com. Just right on that page is really the easiest, and just fill out your information, and we'll contact you within the same day.
Yeah, and we'll have the contact information for Mobot below in the description here. If you guys have any questions, as always, comment, send us messages. We'll get you the best information to the best of our ability. Thanks, guys. Our ability.